Why does the ATM you need always have the highest fee?
I have.
ain't no place for no better man. This ain't no place for no hero to call home. This ain't no place for no hero. This ain't no place for no better man. This ain't no place for no hero to call home. This ain't no place for no hero. This ain't no place for no better man. This ain't no place for no hero to call home.
From relieving roughness to soothing skin,
We are in a draft, ladies and gentlemen. Repping my America's Finest right now. Let's get this puppy started. Pick 8. No apparent direction that I'm really going to angle towards immediately. If I do happen to land McCaffrey, I'd love that since I don't have too much of him currently. But we'll see how this goes. Also, shout out to Robbie G. Told me yesterday that the draft kind of froze a bit yesterday. I gotta leave this sprint. Fortunately, that's not the play today. Wish it was. But I got a decent setup now to hopefully keep my eyes on OBS. Make sure that it doesn't freeze up like it did yesterday. Now, this is a question. I mean, I'm gonna take Gibbs. Even though I don't have much McCaffrey, I'll get there in the end game. So we already know Minnesota's on our mind. I'm not going to queue up just yet. Want to see... I personally like going first 3 rounds, take stock, and then kind of queue up your team so you don't forget about them. It's my modus operandum. We'll see how it goes. Next pick is 17. I mean, to be fair, I don't have a strong leaning amongst either of the 3 wide receivers there right now after a Gibbs start. I do worry about A.J. Brown. I really don't think Philly's going to throw the ball like much more than they did last season. So that is a slight cause for concern. I mean, it's not that A.J. Brown is bad, just that is the volume there from a team perspective, not an individual perspective. I keep saying it. Hopefully I'll remember to do it tonight. At this point, I think I just gotta get YouTube music. Save myself from these fucking ads, man. Unskippable ones, too. Damn shame. I mean, if either of the top 2... Well, one of them will. So this is a rare RB start for me. Certainly something I don't do often. And I really don't have much Henry either. Definitely don't have a Gibbs-Henry lineup, so fine by me. Alright. Let's get this music back up, eh? Alright, let's see. 32 is the next pick. We definitely need a wide receiver. Garrett Wilson, to me, is kind of a similar thing to A.J. Brown. I really worry about the team volume, especially going from Rodgers to Fields is a very stark change in offensive philosophy. Fields is not going to be airing it out like Rodgers did last season. And while I think Garrett Wilson is an amazing wide receiver, it's another thing where team passing volume is a little frightful to me. LAR, Pitt, Minnesota for Detroit. And then we got Cincinnati, New England, Green Bay for Baltimore. Again, not going to angle too harshly or strongly just yet. Thinking. It's also, I mean, Gibbs does have upside in a, opposite direction game where their team's down big in the fantasy playoffs. Henry, a little less so. So Baltimore necessarily doesn't have to be the target stack. I mean, did something happen to T. Higgins? I'm not gonna... Said it before, I'll say it again. Not gonna look a gift horse in the mouth. And to be fair, we have one game with him. And this could be enough. Yeah, I was gonna say McBride isn't gonna make it to the next pick, unfortunately. But I'm not too stressed about it. I'm happy getting Higgins at 32. Just take some value. At this point, I'm going to keep letting the draft speak to me for now. Could go very strange. 3 RBs. This is a puppy, so I'm more than willing to get a little wonky. I don't think we would line up well for a Washington stack. We could guarantee Caleb fairly easily, so I wouldn't hate DJ Moore. But the only issue is like, you then are hunting pretty hard for a tight end later that isn't Kittle. Like, I really like Kittle if you're going for that Chicago stack. Granted, the other receivers do make it possible to get some exposure there later. Let's go DJ Moore. Think about a Chicago stack that doesn't have Kittle. Ayuk will certainly be one of the ones, but let's just queue up our Chicagoites real quick. I mean, it would depend where our wide receiver room is when Swift is on the board. It's probably not in the cards, but we shall see. Loveland also gives us a later out at tight end, which isn't too bad. I've talked about Loveland a fair bit on these streams. Draft still looking good. Perfect. Living life, living to the fullest. I mean, yeah, getting Pearsall in the 70s would be nice. Especially with Kittle out. We would need Pearsall to fall a fair bit. Jennings said he wants a contract. Very bold. I don't know where he thinks the team's getting all the money. I mean, yeah, he's trying to do what Ayuk did last year. It's a bold move, Cotton. We'll see how it pans out for him. I mean, if somehow Courtland Sutherland falls, I'm more than happy to stack off the Denver KC game after doing this roundabout thought process early, just taking some value and then working into that later. Because I could angle into a Knicks stack, and then you take like Kelsey or something. Not in the cards, though. Ridley wouldn't be the worst if we angle a bit towards those San Francisco wide receivers later, but it looks like we might just be going Odunze, probably skip on Burden. Yeah, I'd say that's the right move for now. Talk of Addison getting a suspension. To be honest, I don't fear it too much. I mean, Rashee Rice hasn't even been suspended yet. To be fair, I don't know if Rice went to trial or not, but I'd be more than happy to take Hawk as well. It's a consideration to play into Gibbs. Oh, I fucking missed the skip on the ad. Tiff, tiff, tiff. All right. 65-80. Let's think quick. I don't really want to take Jennings throwing a holdout. Could go Olave. I'm a fan of Olave. Not much overlap here in any semblance of the word. But it's not the worst idea I've ever had, especially for a team that needs some wide receiver help. I mean, Judy does have one game with Chicago, so we might have to go Jerry. The main thing is I don't want to take Juwan Jennings off of, like, right now. You know what I mean? Like, given the uncertainty, I'm only going to be take Jennings right now once we get, like, a couple spots past ADP. Either way, we know it's Caleb at 105 or 104. 2 picks until then at 80 and 89. 89, I'm probably going to go with Hawk, and we can just go with a Hawk Loveland tight end room. Should be able to get him at 128, we hope. That'd feel real good to me. So then at 80 is the only one that we have in question. Could even just take Hawk there, depending on the wide receiver or tight end board at the time. That said, though, I would prefer to get a San Francisco wide receiver and then go into Hawk. But we'll see how it all plays out. I don't think we have the space for Burden. I feel like that's a little too much Chicago, especially if I know I'm going Loveland. The upside is certainly there for him, though, if he becomes the prestigious Amon-Ra role. I'd be a little surprised, though, to be honest, but I've been wrong before. Some very strange slips in this draft. Tampa Bay doesn't really align with anything that we're doing, but, like, at a certain point, who cares? Hopefully we get Pearsall, though. Would be cool. Too bad, so sad. Dude. Crazy. Does Diggs do anything for me? I mean, did Chris Godwin get shot? Like, what are we even doing here? I understand. I mean, I talked about it yesterday. Some slight concern with when he may return. I mean, hand up, comment below if I am missing something. But I'm just gonna take Chris Godwin. I mean, let's find out here. I ain't found shit. I don't know. I'm not gonna overthink it. Alright, Hawk. Make it back to us at the next pick. If not, we'd probably do just settle for a Jordan Mason or Aaron Jones RB3. Take some esteem stability there and work around Loveland later. Should get Hawk. Yeah. Alright, cool. I did tiff myself here getting no San Francisco, which is a damn shame. That's the price you pay. To be fair, I did lock in on Hawkinson pretty heavily there. The proper pick could have been Ayuk, since I know that I'm doing a fairly heavy Chicago stack. That's the game that I need to blow up. And Ayuk, in and of himself, because of the injury, is a late season burst kind of player. Considering all those things, you could talk yourself out of Godwin somewhere there. Take Hawk into Ayuk. Yeah. I don't think that's wrong. I did fall for the ADP trap, though. It's a trap that many men have fallen for before. You just see the ADP value and you kind of become enamored with it. Quick look at the 8-hour draft. Ended up taking Williams and Burden, so I'm actually showing Chicago stacks all over the place. I don't think I can take a Baker Godwin. Okay, thanks. Appreciate that. I didn't want to have to do it. Yeah, let me just take Caleb here. Unfortunately, there is next to no way, apart from the premium handcuffs, that I'm going to work my way into San Fran late season. Like, I don't think Demarcus Robinson plays into that, unfortunately. So we're going to have a no bring back, which is fine as long as they perform. Just does make things slightly more difficult in my eyes to hit a super high ceiling. This could be a rare case. Where's he at? Where you at, boss? Ollie Gordon last pick. Just to get something in that Tampa Bay game. And I think Ollie Gordon's a little under-repped, a little under ADP given his upside. I mean, I have no Green Bay. Not that it's impossible to get a late Green Bay wide receiver or tight end or anything like that. I don't think this is what we're looking to do. Taking like Ingram or Evan. Ingram or Evan. Andrews or Ingram. It's a cold world. I mean, fuck it. If I want the ceiling, this is the ceiling. Just full Chicago receiver room stack. Going into Loveland at the next pick. That's the only way I think you claw out of like a no bring back, need higher ceiling. I think that's where I'm at. All right, let's see how this goes. Hopefully we get Loveland the next pick. Have a pretty sweet tight end room, upside-wise. Hawk isn't... I mean, he could be if McCarthy really targets him. But I do think Loveland represents a higher season-long ceiling as opposed to week-to-week ceiling like Hawk. I am abundantly tied to the Chicago offense right now, though. But, I mean, just a giga stack like that is a good way to superbly raise the ceiling. We do have an important question regarding who we opt to back up Caleb in this lineup. Not necessarily going to be an easy task, given how tied into Chicago we are. And Loveland goes, you son of a gun. I don't think I can go McCarthy with only Hawk, but maybe I have to. It does help us stack into Gibbs. I don't think we have a proper angle towards anyone else, so let's do it. Admittedly, could... Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you go Benson since you have Higgins. None of it is abundantly like, yeah, that was the play to me, though. Javante's fine if he makes it back. If not, we could go... I mean, I did just bring up Trey Benson. Likely wouldn't be bad, but we don't have a... Nah. I don't think likely is the right play. Yeah, this is Tiff. I didn't expect both Loveland and the Green Bay tight end, whose name I'm blanking on, to both be gone. I do think we can go Benson, just go premium handcuff. I mean, maybe... Yeah, no, it's probably Garendo instead. I'm so pushed in towards Chicago. I think it has to be Garendo. That's the higher upside opportunity. Like, don't be wrong, stacking into the Cincinnati-Arizona game is fine, but I need that San Francisco-Chicago game to pop off if I'm going to see any money after advancing. So he's the more premium handcuff in this scenario. Roshan's a fine depth running back as well. We're not getting him though. I also do mention Dolly Gordon earlier. I think he could take like a Mostert role in this offense. He's the biggest body back that they have. Given last pick ADP, I think that's a great ceiling upside pick, especially when you have a fairly stable running back room. Try and take on that ceiling. None of these quarterbacks really play into anything on our end. I mean, I guess Tua does play into two of our things, but I mean, we have McCarthy. I'm just getting enamored by quarterback value, to be quite honest. Dallas does play Minnesota. Don't have any Washington or what's the other one? Chargers. He's a tight end nonetheless. I don't think Ferg has the top end shit that we need though. I think we have Hawk into a quarterback stack that hopefully provides some value. We're just gonna punt into the later round tight ends with our next couple picks. Yeah, we have 61-76 to figure that out. I am a value slut, though. I think we go Jadon Blue if he's there. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Algiers a fine one, too. I just think there's a small chance that Jadon Blue overtakes Javonte Williams. If he does, it's a great smack. And then we'll look into these tight ends with next picks. Not going to force my hand by any means because, as I've said in these previous ones, most of the tight ends in this range, unless you're supremely stacked up into them, like you're fully betting on the Jacksonville offense, so Brenton Strange makes sense, they're all going to have very similar outputs by the end of the season. Yeah. So none of these teams align with any game stacking on my end. So they're all pretty much on equal footing in my eyes. I mean, is this a rare 3 QB out of me? It just might be. Admittedly, might be dumb. But if I'm gonna do wonky shit like this, might as well do it in a puppy. Draft still good? Hell yeah. Yeah, we're just gonna do probably one of these two. I'm such a Kyle Pitts slut. It's crazy. Yeah, I mean, at this point, I'll take the value. I don't really care. Plays into some of our matchups, too. Our advance rate probably went way up. Our ceiling, though, is what concerns me more. McMillan would be a great pick. Basically just... especially when you take Godwin, you're basically... If you don't get Egbuka, McMillan to me is basically your Godwin fill-in until he's back. Which is a perfectly fine fill-in. Yeah, if Josh Palmer's there, why not? I don't think he's abundantly amazing, but something to consider nonetheless. Houston, I don't think plays into what we want. Yeah, no, not really. At this point, yeah, we're angling towards running back, wide receiver, one tight end, maybe two, depending on how it plays out. I think I probably need a little bit more wide receiver help to push us through, as opposed to a third tight end. But yeah, now, especially with Godwin out, running into taking Tua, I think Otten is a prime selection here. I'm very curious about this QB slipping across the board. Just in general, not Cam Ward or Tua specifically, just how this draft room is approaching them. There goes Otten. Kill yourself. Alright. Get a little bit of a Higgins bring back. Yeah. It's the best I got right now. And then we are likely going Waller next pick. We'll cut it there at 2 tight ends. Let the rest of the draft speak to us, is my thought process. Alright, draft's still operating good. I really don't know why OBS freezes the screen capture sometimes. I'd be really curious to know. Jordan James, after already taking Grando. Probably not the best. With how San Francisco's running back health has been, though, it could give you a little bit of upside. Maybe the forgotten child here. Where did Samson end up going this draft? That's a 172, so he's getting pushed up even more. Everyone's buying in on Samson, and I feel like Ford hasn't really moved at all, which is kind of crazy considering, like, he's just as likely to maybe, especially early in the season, be something of value. I'm going to close this puppy out with a crazy song. A little Pokemon Coliseum for the real ones out there. Shout out Mirror B. I mean, I like this lineup if Ford somehow makes it back to 200. Just go Waller, Ford, Gordon, close it out. We may not need... it's probably a safer bet. Yeah, our other two running backs are kind of next to nothing if they flop. Just give us a little bit more. How do I think about how this wide receiver room is shaking out? Week 5 will admittedly be tough. Godwin potentially couldn't be back by that point on a negative perspective. You would only have Higgins, Judy, Wilson on week 5. But considering how high we've stacked up Chicago, that 1 week, limited output would be just quite small in comparison to hopefully the season-long output if the Chicago offense hits. I do think our one saving grace after not getting much San Francisco to work into the Chicago game is that we, did get some admittedly wonky other quarterbacks that could present some upside in that final week to push us through. Let's go Ivasash. Wicks would have been the better pick if we ended up getting any of those Baltimore wide receivers. Not necessarily a bad pick. Main reason I went with Eo Sivash is because we just took Michael Wilson, have T. Higgins. Likely a high total game if for some reason Jamar's out that week. Upside. Or if T's out in any given week, Eo Sivash is just kind of like a week-to-week injury upside play. Especially in a wide receiver room of mine that's fairly limited on some weeks. And then we'll close it out with Ollie Gordon. Hope that our ragtag group of 3 backups can provide just enough to support Gibbs and Henry. We'll do a quick review while we wait for this final pick to close out. Gibbs and Henry, fine opener that I haven't done much of in any capacity whatsoever. I think Higgins is also pretty good, opens you up into like a little bit of Baltimore there. And then, you can just play off of it into some later things. Somehow, if McBride then makes it back to your next pick, you're living in a dream. Not too likely. Ended up going DJ Moore because I thought we could very easily stack Chicago, which I ended up being right about. Just missed out on Loveland, which would have been my preferred pick. Just pairing up Hawkinson and Loveland with a main Caleb stack. Didn't get any San Francisco by my own doing, to be fair. Could have taken someone like Ayuk over Godwin, which even though Godwin was so far past ADP, looking back, probably was the right play. Missed out on that. We move on. Was able to get a little bit of Miami in the back end to kind of justify that Godwin ADP slump. But I do think even just going Hawkinson at 89 and then Hawkinson at 80, Ayuk at 89 probably makes a little bit more sense. Jerry Jeudy, not bad, not great. He plays Chicago 1 week. There's not really much outside of that, and needing a wide receiver at that point in the draft, not knowing that we were going to end up with a Godwin here. If Godwin wasn't there and somehow like Golden's there, that's a fine pick. Working into Henry, who you're going to need to have a positive game script in 17. Ended up getting even more. It honestly may have not been the worst thing that we don't work into Loveland, simply because we do have a triple in Chicago in the wide receiver room. So, to be fair, banking a little bit now on him not being too involved in the offense. McCarthy, just because of a slip, and we had Hawk, and playing into a Detroit game, gives us a little bit of upside into something we don't have too much of, and especially given that we have no San Francisco bring back, a little bit of bring back in that game ain't too bad after taking Gibbs early. Very similar thing with Tua. Just because we took the Godwin value pick, and Miami plays both Cincinnati and Tampa Bay, who we have a small bit of exposure to. It could just be like, hey, if Caleb has a really bad week, but the rest of our lineup somehow smacks, it could be just enough to keep us in the running. And then just closing out some extra stacks and all that stuff. But yeah, that's it for today's draft. Just a quick puppy. Hopefully we can get into something bigger tomorrow. If we don't get into a sprint, I'll do a BBM or something. But until then, see you guys. Have a good one. Draft safe. Be good. Peace.